Developing specific and generic competencies is the goal of every lesson. What is the difference? Specific competencies refers to the subject that is taught. Generic competencies are general skills that are needed in every job in work and everyday life. These skills are also called key competencies. Examples are writing competencies, presentational competencies, information competencies, or the ability to work in a team. The term competency is mostly understood as ability to meet complex demands by drawing on the mobilizing psychosocial resources, including skills and attitudes, in a particular context. For example, the ability to communicate effectively is a competency that may draw on an individual's knowledge of language, practical IT skills, and attitudes towards those with whom he or she is communicating. OECD 2005. The difficulty while working with competencies is that these are only measurable and observable in performance. Classroom learning can be designed in a competence-oriented manner. Therefore, it is necessary to operationalize the intended competencies and articulate them as measurable learning results. The phrasing of learning results is still based upon the works of Benjamin Bloom from 1956. In his taxonomy model of educational objectives, Bloom differentiates 6 levels which build upon each other. Many authors referred to this early work and published a revised version of the Bloomian taxonomy, such as Anderson and Krathwohl from 2001. These authors differentiate the desired learning levels as follows: being able to remember something, being able to understand something, being able to apply something, being able to analyze something, being able to evaluate something, being able to create something. For each level, Anderson and Krathwohl defined a list of verbs that can be used in the formulation of learning goals. To articulate an educational objective on level 1, being able to remember something, for example, the words to identify, to recall, to reproduce, to list, to name, or to state can be used, and there are many more. Further verb lists for cognitive learning goals are easy to find in the internet. In some cases, it might be questioned if the listed verbs are assigned to the correct levels, but it is more important that the verbs lead to observable and measurable learning objectives. Verbs like know, recognize, or understand are not on the list, as these processes cannot be observed and are therefore not competence-oriented. Most curricula have a clear focus on cognitive learning goals. It is often forgotten that competencies result from the combination of knowledge, abilities, and attitudes. Therefore, effective learning goals and, if applicable, psychomotor learning goals should also be defined. Effective learning goals refer to the development of stable value stances, change of interests, or the willingness to do or think something. Possible verbs to formulate these learning goals are, for example, to consider, to heed, to dignify, to tolerate, or having fun. Psychomotor learning goals focus on movements and the connected coordination abilities. These are needed, for example, in learning a new sport, handling a computer mouse, and many crafts. Fitting verbs would be to build, to construct, to rearrange, or to design. For a good lesson, it is inevitable that concrete learning goals are determined beforehand. If it is unclear what the learners are supposed to achieve, the whole didactic toolbox is futile. The learning objective is the central selection criteria for the use of teaching strategies and learning materials. This fitting is the first pillar of good education. The second pillar is the fit of learning objectives and learning assessment. A third pillar can be seen as fitting learning assessment and teaching or learning activities. The connecting link between goals, strategies, activities, and assessment are the verbs of the list. Since they have been used to formulate learning goals, they reappear within the learning tasks, and they are reflected in the exam tasks. This model of fitting learning goals, teaching and learning activities, and assessments is known by the name constructive alignment and plays a major role in curriculum planning.